What do you think drove Billie Eilish to write Birds of a Feather? Was it only love? Have you ever wondered what makes the urge to stay together till the grave feel so overpowering? In that swirl of feelings, the strongest one is often the fear of loss. That's why she reaches for the birds of a feather image, a bond even beyond the idea of soulmates. And have you ever felt that fear? Most of the time, that fear is like a hidden alarm ringing deep in your chest. Sometimes its wiring runs back to childhood moments when you weren't seen, weren't understood, or were suddenly left behind, teaching your mind to pair closeness with risk. Even as an adult, when someone moves closer, the alarm goes off again. What if they leave? Then the tiniest delay, a quiet pause, a one-word text can swell out of proportion in your head. To silence the alarm, you start to manage, to ask more, to hold tighter. But the tighter you hold, the more fragile it all becomes. There's also the matter of self-worth. If your sense of I am worthy comes from someone else's approval rather than from within, their leaving isn't just a person walking away. It feels like you're losing a piece of yourself. At that point, fear of loss stops being a natural sensitivity that travels with love and turns into a reflex that runs the relationship. The less tolerance your mind has for uncertainty, the more you try to secure the bond. But love doesn't run on guarantees. It runs on goodwill, consistency, and mutual respect. Now think about your relationship with yourself. We all have seasons when being alone is hard. When you don't want to sit with that inner emptiness, you can start using a relationship like a painkiller. In those phases, a partner becomes more than a lover. They become the only thing keeping me upright. It's a heavy role for anyone to carry, and it weighs on both of you. Idealization is another trap. When you lift someone to the level of a singular savior, you don't just bind yourself to a person. You tie your sense of safety, hope, and future to a single pillar. That setup fuels fear of loss because there's only one lead on stage and it must never fall. As you start to hear your own voice again, meeting your need for approval from the inside, the intensity of that fear softens. I'm okay if they're here slowly becomes. I'm okay because I'm here, and with them, I'm even better. When you're afraid of losing someone, don't lose yourself first. As your bond with yourself gets stronger, the bond with the person you love becomes calmer, deeper, and more real. Sometimes not loving yourself isn't loud self-hatred. It's a quiet kind of conditional acceptance. If I perform well, if I'm useful enough, if I don't make mistakes, then I'm worthy. You set up an invisible jury inside you. Every action, every sentence gets scored. And just like the alarm that goes off when you fear losing someone, a similar one switches on here. If I'm not enough, I'll be left. So even when you hear you're loved, it doesn't fully land. The fine print in your inner contract keeps saying, prove it still, okay? Your inner language turns sharp. Before anyone else can criticize you, you deliver the harshest line yourself. You pin success on luck and time mistakes to identity. I did well because I got lucky. I messed up, so I must be inadequate, right? In relationships, you either overgive so you won't be rejected, or when intimacy grows, you sabotage it because one day they'll see and go. Saying no feels hard. Boundaries look like rudeness, and later you simmer, not at them, at yourself. You slip easily into the social comparison loop. You set your backstage right next to everyone else's shop window. Perfectionism and procrastination walk hand in hand. If it won't be flawless, I won't even start. Your truce with your body weakens. In the mirror, you fixate on one part and miss the whole. Compliments don't quite land. You deflect a one-line praise with a three-line joke. A quiet fatigue tags along. You work a lot, think a lot, but you can't rest because standing next to yourself doesn't feel safe. Emotionally, shame and chronic guilt take the lead. Not, I did something wrong, but there's something wrong with me. Mentally, there's mind-reading, catastrophizing, verdicts without evidence. In your body, a constant tightness, shallow breathing, jaw clenched at night. In behavior, either over accommodation, people-pleasing, or over avoidance, procrastination, disappearing. The tiniest uncertainties in a relationship swell. Inside, you hunt for a flaw to catch. Your inner voice talks like a monotone commentator. You should have done better, right? So how do you loosen this knot? First, notice what's happening and name it. Even saying, my inner critic is talking right now, turns the volume down. Then ask yourself, where's the evidence? When you catch an assumption, soften the line, Swap, I messed it up, for it didn't go the way I hoped. Next time I'll try this. That small rewrite hands the wheel of your mind back to you, okay? Then you bring self-compassion down to earth with 3 small steps. 1, mindfulness. I'm struggling. This is human. 2, common humanity. I'm not the only one who goes through this. And third one is kindness. How can I support myself right now? A few short lines like these can settle your nervous system. Remember Carl Rogers' paradox. When I accept myself just as I am, then I can change. Acceptance is the ground you move from. You want your mind to lean on your evidence, not outside approval. So you keep a small evidence log. 3 lines a day. I put effort into X. I was clear with Y. I finished Z, then a 4th line for feeling. And here's how it felt. Little by little, your mind learns that I am worthy isn't borrowed from others. It grows inside, backed by evidence. You also rehearse setting boundaries. In a panic, a ready line can save the moment. I can't do this right now. I can get back to you after X. I can't keep up at this pace. What's realistic for me is this. I want to say yes, but right now, I need to say no. Remember, a boundary isn't a lack of love. It's what makes love sustainable. Then you go on a comparison diet. For 30 days, you mute the accounts that spike you and replace them with nourishing streams. Learning, inspiration, and calm. Okay? You swap comparison for curiosity, judgment for observation. When you stop measuring your backstage against everyone else's shop window, your breathing opens up. You write down your values and convert them into tiny acts. And you don't forget relational repair. More time with the people who steady you, less with the ones who drain you. This safe relationship diet isn't deprivation. It's a plan to calm your nervous system. Good relationships soften the tone of your inner voice. Okay? When you need it, you get professional help. Schema work, attachment-focused approaches are all powerful for mapping the inner critic. Asking for help isn't weakness. It's a choice for structured progress. You also keep a tiny emergency kit, a 90-second pause, breathe, ground. Straighten your posture, slow your breath, come back to your senses. I'm struggling right now, and this will pass. You don't have to fix the crisis. Moving through it is enough. If you pick only one habit, use the one thing rule at the end of each day. Write yourself 2 lines. Today, I did this, and I'm thanking myself for it. Your relationship with yourself improves by 1 millimeter a day, okay? Final note, loving yourself isn't adoring yourself. It's quitting the war against yourself. As your inner voice softens, you become fair, not to the world first, but to you. That fairness eases fear of loss and drains the needless tension from your relationships. When you stop borrowing worth from others, love stops being an exam and becomes something you live together. Be gentle with yourself today. Don't punish yourself while you're working on your rough edges. When you're afraid of losing someone, remember not to lose yourself first. Take a breath and write 2 lines. Today I did this, and I'm thanking myself for it. Love isn't an exam. It's something you live together. Start with yourself.